Okay, we're about to have Coach Jans join us. Straight to questions.
Please.
All right, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. We'll start up front with Bob.
Hey, Chris, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I know you lost Smith for a while. I guess is there a timeline on that? Just how tough is that when, he's obviously one of the best players in the league, one of the best in the country, and he's not going to be with you to start the season on the court anyway?
Yeah, I could have thought of some better things to happen to us a few weeks ago, but it's a part of basketball, and we're trying to deal with it as best we can. Certainly he's, the heart and soul of our team, and we were excited that he made the decision to come back and finish his career as a Bulldog. It meant the world to our staff and our fan base, and certainly his teammates as well. And now, first and foremost, we're just trying to, be there for him. That's a lot to handle with the kind of expectations that were placed upon him and the type of season that he wanted to have. And so at this point, we're just being there for him and making sure he gets through it mentally and physically. And he's had a great attitude. He's ready to attack his rehab, and he's, going to get back as soon as he can. But in terms of a timeline, what they've told me originally, and it hasn't changed, was mid-January. And, obviously as they give you updates and do scans, they can tell how it's healing, et cetera. And hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed that would change going forward. But that's all I know for now.
Chris, you mentioned before how much the Portugal trip did for you guys, for team chemistry and stuff. Building off that over the last month, how have you seen the guys, get closer and show that on the court?
Yeah, obviously lots of coaches have been a part of the foreign tour and the experience that allows your program. There's so many benefits from it, but certainly one of them is the expectation that that particular team will become, a closer knit team. And when we have a lot of older guys, we have an experienced group coming back, and then, we signed 7 new players. And so the feedback that I got, which was heartwarming from our new guys, is how welcoming the older vets were. And they brought them in and welcomed them with open arms. And, just hearing little bits and pieces about the interaction that they had, while they were over there, I thought gave us a chance going forward to just be a tighter team and have different, deeper relationships than maybe you would have in a normal season. And, if there's going to be some silver lining in the injuries that have happened to us, hopefully, that will be one of them, is that, they'll bond together and they'll understand that everyone's got to pick it up a little bit here and there in order to, keep the train moving.
Back here on the far right.
Yeah, Coach, last season defense was at the core of your identity, and to be again this year with just about everybody returning, what's it going to take to maintain that intensity on that end of the floor, especially with Tolu out for about half the year or so?
Yeah, in addition to Tolu, 6'9", Keyshawn Murphy is injured as well, and then we've got another junior college transfer named Janquan Scott that's 6'8". So we're just not as big and physical and as athletic as we were hoping to be if we were full strength, and that's certainly going to hurt us in all areas. But the obvious is just not having as much size on the floor, which shrinks the court and erases some mistakes that you may have on a particular possession out front. But our staff and I are trying to tweak how we play on both ends of the floor, in addition to the defensive side of the ball. But I think in the end we'll still have that as part of our identity, and we're hopeful that the guys that we've brought in, the new players that have joined us, will provide some shooting and some scoring that we were lacking last year, and then at the same time, buying into what gets him on the floor and what keeps him on the floor.
Our SEC's got 5 teams ranked in the preseason polls, the most of any conference. You guys might have made it 6, I think, if people hadn't heard about Smith's injury. What do you think of the league going into your second year? What'd you learn about the first year? And people probably think football first in the SEC, but obviously it's a really top basketball league now too.
Yeah, it's awesome. I didn't know what to expect. I've never been in the Power Five in 31 years of coaching college basketball, so I didn't know. I didn't know what it was going to feel like. I had an idea, but until you go through something and gain that experience, you just don't know. And it just means so much to so many. Every given night, you're playing against quality players. The staff that you're trying to compete against is of highest quality that there is in college basketball, and the fan bases. I mean, it means a lot to the fan bases in this league, and it's just awesome to be a part of it, knowing that every single night you go out, you're going to be playing against, a really good program, and there's going to be a lot riding on it. We were obviously happy that we were able to make the NCAA tournament in our inaugural season when most people obviously wouldn't have predicted us to do that, and so that was a big step in establishing ourselves, but we were disappointed in not staying longer, and we're certainly not where we want to be, but with the recent additions, and if we can hold this thing together until we get back healthy and win enough games until that point, I think I'm going to like our basketball team.
Thank you. Coach, just without knowing Tolu's timeline going forward, what is your confidence in Jimmy Bell taking that spot?
Yeah, good question. Fortunately, Jimmy's been around the block a couple times. He's older. He's been there, done that. He started 34 games in the Big 12, so he understands, what high-level basketball feels like, and he's a worker. He's a business. Got a business approach every single day. I haven't sat him down and told him, hey, now you got to do this or that and the other. He just knows. He knows that I know, and certainly it ain't about Jimmy trying to replace Tolu. We've got to put our team and our individual players in the best spot, for them individually and figure out how we need to play. But it's definitely made us adjust on the fly. The only silver lining right now is that we have time. If this was in November or December, it would be really hard to make those adjustments on the fly, but we've got enough time to figure out which lineups we can put together to put ourselves in a good position. But Jimmy Bell obviously is going to be relied on to burden some of the load until Tolu gets back.
Any more questions? Okay, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys sticking around.
As a reminder, the Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau will host a reception tonight from 6 to 9 in the